step outside this dream. The lights go down and the fists go up. I can hear the people scream. The curtain's up, yes, we're here to tear it down. Everyone is singing along, getting loud and proud. My family's screaming fine, got their hands up in the air. Tomorrow's coming soon, but we don't care. We're all just dreamers with the magic in our hearts. Together for one night, nothing's tearing us apart.
Non-stop rock talk with Tyson Bryden. Welcome to Non-Stop Rock Talk. I am your host, Tyson Bryden. Today, I am very happy to welcome Steel City guitarist Mike Floros. Mike, it is a pleasure to welcome you to the show. How's it going?
It goes great, dude. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. I'm in Canada, and it's sunny today, and it's nice out, which is, for March, is kind of unexpected, to be honest.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's pretty nice out. So later, when I'm drinking my green beer or my Guinness, I'm going to be enjoying hopefully a little bit of sunshine. So.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know if I'll be drinking green beer tonight. I'll probably just be hanging out with my wife and my daughter, and we have a new dog. So yeah.
Right on.
I'll probably just be hanging out, making sure the dog doesn't pee all over the place.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a visual.
There is a visual. That's a good visual. I mean, it's the second year in a row that St. Paddy's Day has been screwed up, right?
Oh yeah. Well, and seeing as how I'm such a party animal and I can't wait to get out and drink green beer and, just, I'm so disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. I went to the grocery store and bought my own food coloring just so, so I don't have to go out anywhere. So, because I don't go out very often. So it's all good. So right off the bat, Steel City has just released the follow-up to Fortress, which this album features Cold Sweat singer Roy Cathey, entitled Mach II. Now I have to ask, and I assume it's probably self-explanatory, why Mach II is the title.
Well, I think it's you're pretty much if what you're thinking is, well, we're starting over somewhat with three new members, being Roy Cathey as our lead vocalist, Jason Cornwell as our bassist, and BJ Zampa on drums. The sole holdovers were myself and Tony Stahl, who plays keyboards. Yeah. You were, new band, new direction, going at it full force at Mach II. Yeah, that was kind of the idea behind it. Credit John Kibble from our former label, Kibble Records, for coming up with the title for the album. That was his idea.
Oh, cool. Okay. I mean, when I saw that, I was kind of thinking, the whole Deep Purple thing, where every lineup is called, I think it's Mach 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 5? 4 or 5? I can't remember.
Dude, I don't know, man. It's funny, we get compared to Deep Purple a lot because we use, we really wanted to integrate some of that Hammond B3 sound into this album. And, and I get it. That's kind of an old Deep Purple thing. And for us, it was like I was listening to a lot of newer Europe. And I'm like, I really dig it, and I really want that because I'm a huge Europe fan, and I wanted that to be a part of our sound. And with Tony on board, I really wanted to showcase a lot of his abilities as well.
I'm a huge Europe fan as well, and I'm pretty stoked that they're starting to. I think the CBS releases of John Norm's vinyls are being re-released. So.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I've got the third one on the way. I ordered it from Amazon last week, and then Face the Truth is in my cart. So it wasn't available, and then it just became available. So I'm pretty stoked about that. So I'm a big Europe fan myself. I'm a big John Norm fan as well. So
yeah, strangely, I always, I find myself drawn to the John Norm solo albums and the Key Marcello albums a lot too, just as much as I am the Europe albums. Man, Another Destination is probably one of my favorite albums of all time. It's just badass.
That's a killer album, and that's the one that's coming, is Another Destination. I cannot wait to get it. I mean, I was disappointed because, like Amazon being a Prime member, sometimes it'll be like, okay, it's coming the next day, but I guess this one is from Amazon in Europe or some seller in Europe. So it's shipped. It just hasn't arrived yet.
Well, and that shipping stuff, I could tell you from, a band standpoint, it's always a good time. It's, especially throughout COVID, it was kind of hit or miss.
Yeah.
And those international shipping rates, to say they suck would be a mild understatement.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. They're brutal. I mean, thank God it's through Amazon because, I guess they must be flipping the bill for the astronomical price, or they've put it into the price of the vinyl. Who knows, right?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, going back a bit, give me a little bit of your history. I assume the style of music that Steel City plays is kind of what you grew up both listening to and playing.
Yeah, for the most part, I would have to say yes. Growing up, I was very fortunate because I come from a musical family. My father was a really killer jazz keyboard player. Played with a lot of quote unquote famous folk back in the day. And my mother was just an absolute music lover. Grew up loving Elvis and just about everybody in between. And so I was always surrounded by a lot of music when I was younger, especially even during the grade school years. I lived with my cousins, and all of my older cousins would play Bad Company and the Rolling Stones and, all of these bands that, I had never really been introduced to. And then I, of course, fell in love with Kiss and Queen and all of these bands. And so that's where I kind of got my musical start. When I moved to Ohio in middle school, I was fortunate enough to get my very first guitar and just continued to play and grow from there and just kind of incorporate the styles. Mostly, honestly, I think my songwriting style kind of comes from the 70s and the era for music that I have as far as what I like to present my songwriting in kind of comes from the 80s, if that makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Now,
Hopefully I didn't ramble too much.
No, that's good. No, that's perfect. As a guitar player myself, I must ask about your guitar sound, which I really love on Mach II. I'm always interested to talk guitars and hear about what others bring to the table. I mean, what is your recording approach, and does your gear vary when playing live? Do you kind of use the same approach, or do you mix it up a bit? Maybe add a little bit more color in the studio?
You may or may not like this answer because you're a guitar player. And this is held true whether I was recording Fortress with Johnny Lima, who mixed and produced Fortress, or Mach II that we produced with Ty Sims and Eric Johnson. On both occasions, my producers said, "Send me dry signal and nothing but I will pick your guitar tones."
Wow.
So the best person, and when you listen to both albums, I think that, I put a lot of trust in both Ty and Johnny, and I think they both did an exemplary job of picking what my guitars should sound like. And they both kind of went, I think, with more of like a Marshall, with a Marshall kind of feel. And that's fine. What I do for live play is I currently have a Helix, and I run the Helix in stereo through some Headrush FR speakers, and on one side I run like an Uberstahl, and on the other side I run a PRS. So it's like a Bogner PRS combo for live play.
Cool. That's cool. Did you find, playing dry, did you find that difficult at any time recording?
Oh, no, because I could run the Helix when I'm recording at home. I have the Helix software plugged into my DAW, but I just ran Easy Mix, man. I picked a couple of really cool sounds on Easy Mix, ran it there, and then of course when I send this stuff to Ty, I don't send it with the Easy Mix stuff on it. I just send it dry, and it comes out great.
Okay. Yeah,
he reamplifies once he gets it.
He reamplifies. Okay. I'm the type of playing dry doesn't bother me. Even it's like sometimes I like delay, but. For years, I went totally dry. For years,
oh, wow.
I did. And people would say and guys would be like, I don't know how you do that. I'm like, well, it's just, it's the amp, and I like the sound of it. And then I kind of broadened myself a little bit more, put a little bit more texture on it. But this is going back probably about 20 years ago. and I was playing pretty dry. Maybe a little bit of reverb, but not a lot of delay or anything like that. So, and I kind of got used to it. So now when I go back to it, it doesn't seem weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So, and I mean, and like they say, sometimes it's all on your fingers too, right? How it comes out.
Well, I think, especially the jazz players will tell you that, because those guys play about as clean as you possibly can. You listen to a jazz guy, they might have a little bit of chorus on there and a slight bit of reverb, and those guys are fast as lightning. You listen to some cats like Pat Martino or Andreas Oberg, and those guys are just blazing, and they're clean. It almost makes you want to throw up just watching them.
It's like, I don't want to play anymore.
Yeah. I will never, ever, ever pick up a guitar in front of somebody like that. That's not going to happen. I'm like, no. You continue. Yeah. I'll sit back and enjoy. We're good.
Yeah. Now getting to Roy Cathey, how did he end up singing with the band? I know he's got the Fifth, and he recently reunited with Cold Sweat, which I think is kind of an occasional thing.
Oh, that's an easy answer, man. I begged.
You begged?
No, I'm kidding. Again, it's something that was set up through our old label. When Brian Cole left, he really wanted to pursue his own thing. Plus, he was working with another band called Murano, which I'm not sure you're familiar with or not. And Dwayne is honestly another one of those guys who refused to play guitar in front of him. He's a killer player. But so we needed to replace Brian. And, the idea of, having Roy Cathey come in to sing vocals was one of the first things we thought of. And because he's got a killer voice, man. And I was fortunate enough to see Roy live at Rock and Skull, I think 2017. And you just watch him take the stage with the Fifth. And, those guys were just, they were just balls to the wall to begin with. And then you see Roy just, where he can soar with his voice just kind of blows you away. Plus, he's got all this stage presence, and then he's got that cool Bob Seger-esque kind of look.
Yeah.
He's the whole package, dude. And so when I called him, and he had some concerns because, our old singer has more of like a Michael Sweet kind of vibe. Yeah. And Roy, he's in his southern voice, it's like, Mike, I sing a little bit more like Ronnie James Dio and Rob Halford, and those fellas are my heroes. And I'm like, bring what you got, dude. And, to his credit, man, that guy he laid into the material and he kicked its ass, and he brought his own sound, and it came out special.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of my favorite, honestly, he's probably one of my favorite singers.
Yeah.
I mean,
one of mine too.
Yeah, I mean, everything he does, and when I hear him, and when I see him, when they did the Monsters of Rock cruise with Cold Sweat, I was like, holy cow, man, this guy he hasn't lost a thing.
Nope, hasn't skipped a beat. And here's the thing, if you think that, and I didn't see the Monsters of Rock thing, so, but I've heard from many people that he was just incredible.
He was. I
can tell you this. I saw him play live with a Boston tribute band. Excuse me. And that dude hit Brad Delp note for note live. Not, live. I just can't even begin to tell you how blown away I was watching that. That's, and I've stood on stage with him, and that's still probably the greatest performance I've seen him do. It was unreal. It was magical. Wow. Magical.
Yeah, I've heard him do Dio. There's a couple other tunes. I can't remember what it was, but there's a Bevan Davies solo album. Roy sings, I think, 3 songs on it. He does a Dio song. And I was just like, I messaged Roy actually and said, man, I just got a hold of this. I just heard this. I can't believe how good you sound. It was awesome, man. I was just like, it blew me away.
Totally. He's probably going to punch me in the face when he sees me because I just imitated him in an interview, but that's okay.
Sorry, Roy. There we go. We apologized. It's all good.
No, I love Roy. He's good people.
He is. That he is. Now, BJ Zampa plays with Dokken, House of Lords. Bank plays the drums on this album. How did you manage to have him in the band?
I'd revert back to the same answer that I gave you before. But, he heard the material and agreed he agreed to be on the album. I had a chance to talk with BJ, and he told me, hey man, he was approached about signing on, and he told me he heard the material, liked the material, dug the songs, and we talked once or twice, texted back and forth, and he fit really well, man. Everything that he did, every time I got mixes back from Ty, with the new guys, Jason Cornwell, BJ Zampa, Roy Cathey, I would get these mixes back from Ty, and what do you think? And it was like every time he sent me a mix, it was like, that's like Christmas Day, man.
Wow.
He's like, you gotta be kidding me. I can't believe this. So, and then, I really love the fact that, Tony is still trucking along with this, because Tony's one of my favorite people. He and I actually have the same day job, because not all of us musicians are taking our Ferraris to buy milk at the store. But
I can relate. I have a day job too, so it's all good. Not just, it is what it is. You got to make money. You got to live.
Yeah. So it was really fantastic to do the Mach II album with these guys, because they all just have such great ability. And the way they showcase it on the album is just, it's really just something to behold, at least for me. I feel really blessed to be a part of it. And quote unquote, it's my band. I never really think of it that way, but I just feel blessed to be a part of it. These guys are all legit pros standing on stage next to me, and here's me, just regular, average Joe with these cats. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Now, so was the album done in separate studios?
Yes. Yeah. It started out here, because the way we record is, I am very fortunate that I can program out drums fairly well, at least to get an idea of what I want, and then I could play the bass. So I'll get all the instrumentation done, and if I need keyboards, I could actually either play them through like a MIDI setup on one of my guitars, or I could just kind of henpeck some keys. And so I'll get the entire demo done here, and these guys will have to suffer through, of course, my vocals. And then I'll send it off, to Ty. Ty will strip it down, sends it to BJ, gets the drums on there. Then JC will throw on the bass. And then, Roy throws on the vocals, and Tony spices it up with keys. And then we put our backing vocals on, and we're done.
Cool.
And, it's all done in different spots because we all have home recording capability.
Yeah.
Roy's getting that now, actually. He's investing in that. He was recording in a studio in North Carolina, but I think he's looking into doing his own home studio thing.
Cool.
So it's really kind of weird, because it came together. It sounded, really tight, and it's 5 guys in 5 different spots.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
But I mean, you go back to like Dokken albums from the 80s, and 2 guys were in Arizona and a couple guys were in California, and they were sending stuff back and forth. And so, I mean, and that sounds tight too. And so, I mean, I think good musicians will make it sound that way, right?
Oh, absolutely. I remember like when BJ took over for Wild Nick Brown in 2019, I was at the Whiskey to see BJ's first show back with the band. I mean, he played with them before, but I was there for that show, and they were pretty damn tight for that show as well. And here's BJ, he comes rolling in. I mean, I know he knows McCarville because they have a band together as well.
Yeah.
And they were also in, I think, House of Lords together. But these guys were all tight. And it was actually kind of fun to watch. And a good friend of mine, too, Rob Kane, I'm currently doing a project with him. His band, Apocalyptic Lovers, actually opened for Dokken that night. So it was a really fun night.
Oh, that's... Now let's talk about the cover of Mach II. It looks amazing. Okay. I love the cover.
Oh, wow.
It looks cool, man. It looks really, really good.
Wow. Thanks, man. Go ahead.
What can you tell me about it? Was there an artist who did that? Is it like kind of how did it come together?
Well, before we put this thing out on Paris, we knew we wanted to put it on, I talked to Tom Mathers, and I told him, I said, I really want to put a nice little bow on this thing. And for me, anytime you're going to do, an album, the cover should really represent kind of the musical style.
Yeah.
And what represents rock and roll more than having an SR-71 Blackbird on the cover, just gliding over scorched earth? So, Mach II, again, I wanted a new logo because of the new band. So I reached out to a graphic artist from Italy. His name is Nello Dell'Omo. And Nello has done a lot of artwork for different labels, including Kibble. He's done a lot I think he's done some for the Paris label as well, like some of the artists on Paris. For sure, Frontiers. And I just, kind of texted back and forth with Nello in regard to what I was looking for. And between he and I just kind of going back and forth with ideas, just bouncing them off of one another, he really came up with that. That's, in my mind, one of Nello's masterpieces. And it looks absolutely fantastic. And all credit goes to the artist, man, because he did such a great job. I really love what he did with it.
Yeah, I saw it and I was just like, wow, that looks awesome. The colors, it just really stands out.
Yeah, it was fortuitous because, like I said, I think, anytime you're working with a graphic artist, a lot of these guys that, they have to have their ability to create just like any musician does. Like you know that.
Yeah.
But, I also think that they also like and want participation from the artist because they don't want it to be just left up to them. They want to get, and that's the feeling that I got from Nello. He really just wanted to, to put his best foot forward and to provide what we wanted as a band. And it came out great.
Now, I mean, in comparison to the first album, and you kind of touched on this with the two different singers, did you have a different, because Roy was on board, did you have a different objective going into this one, or did you want to kind of keep the same type of sound on this album, or did you want to kind of work towards more what his voice would suit?
Well, when Tony and I, like I said, Tony and I were like the only guys left.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it, and I said, hey, look, I said, we had some keyboards on the last album, and, he was playing with us doing our live dates. Because he just like guest appeared on the album. And I'm still mad at Tony for missing picture day, by the way. So, yeah, not happy about that. But, we talked about it. We're like, we really wanted to go like with a little bit more Hammond B3. We wanted more of like that 70s vibe as far as the keys on this album. We wanted to have an album that had, that showcased keyboards as well. That's why a song like Give It Back that may not really necessarily need keyboards still has them, and it comes out sounding like symphonic Van Halen.
Yeah.
But so we were looking for that sound. We wanted like a little bit more of a classic rock vibe. As far as Roy's voice, like I said, Roy he asked me, he's like, are you looking for me to sing like Brian Cole? Because I don't sing that way. And I was like, no, I want you to be you. You do whatever it is that you feel is best. Once I send these songs to you, they are yours. You own them. You go to town. You do what you want to do. Let your creative juices flow. If you feel there's lines that need to be changed or something, you can do that. And to Roy's credit, he would just, he'd call me and say, hey, I'd like to change a line, or I'd like to change the way this, the melody goes here. And, like, you do what you want, dude. And so that's how it came about as far as the sound. As far as the sounding, I guess we sound a little heavier, and all that credit goes to probably Roy's voice.
Yeah. But you know what's funny? When you listen to it, his voice, he adapts to each song. I mean, there's certain songs that are heavy, and he goes heavy, and then there's other songs like, and actually I attribute that back to when you listen to the Cold Sweat album, because there's certain songs that are very melodic on that album, very poppy, like Take This Heart of Mine or Let's Make Love Tonight kind of thing. But then you take another one like Fistful of Dollars or something like that, or Killing Floor, and he really kills it. He really adapts to what the song needs. Yeah.
And I think honestly, if Roy were on an album that came out in 1985 or 1986, you'd be talking about Roy in the same breath as a lot of these upper, quote unquote, upper echelon guys, because in my mind, the dude blows a lot of these guys away. And to me, I think he's every bit as good as, and I'm probably going to get roasted for this, and I don't really care. I think he's every bit as good as somebody like Sebastian Bach. I think if he had an album that was as big as Sebastian Bach's, he'd be right there with him, still out touring, doing all that crazy stuff. And
probably still a nice guy.
Who, Roy?
Roy, yeah, he'd probably still be a nice guy.
I would assume so, because he's got that whole Southern gentleman vibe going on about him. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say too much about Sebastian Bach because, he's...
No, I mean, I've met him on a few occasions, and I know people have said, like, some not so nice things about him. Every time I've met him, every time I've run into him here in LA, and it's not like the guy knows my name or knows who I am.
Yeah.
He's been very cordial and very nice.
Yeah.
Every single time. But I've heard the things, but yeah, I mean, and I don't want to just stop at Sebastian Bach, but I'm just saying he's got that ability, somebody like that. He's got the abilities of like an Axl Rose. He's all these, top shelf, top tier A-list guys from our era. Roy's got that ability, and there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I mean, hearing him, things that he can do, he's totally up there with those guys. Now, I assume more or less the lead-off single track is Hearts on Fire. The video is kind of a lyric video.
Yes. We were originally, like I said, we were supposed to release on a different label last year, and we had a little bit of a fallout with the label because we just had a disagreement on the direction we wanted to go with the album. And so we moved on, and we moved, with Paris. And, we talked to Tom Mathers and signed on with Tom Mathers and Paris Records, and honestly couldn't be happier. The guy's amazing.
Yeah. He
really does. He works his ass off to get the band as much exposure as humanly possible, and all around good guy. We were leading off with a different single last year, but we decided, if we're starting anew, we're going to start with a new single, and that was Hearts on Fire. And again, we really just kind of wanted to showcase everything that the band could do, because that song's kind of balls to the wall. It's got a lot of Guitar Hero stuff on it. Roy's vocal range is really shown off on there. BJ's drumming, there's a lot of nice Hammond in there. And, Jason, can't say enough good things about Jason Cornwell, too. When I first met him, his bass playing is just unreal. So, we really wanted to start off with the song that kind of showcased everybody. And we felt that song did it, as does, say, Give It Back. There's another song that kind of does that.
I like how you guys, I mean, it features the lyric video is not just, the lyrics across the screen. They are there, but I mean, it features the album cover and various photos of the band, which I think it's very well done.
Yeah,
it looks cool, man. It looks very cool.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And what I can tell you, the reason I said I is because I actually did the lyric video.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Thank you.
But,
nice. When we were talking about it, the song itself is about the live playing experience. And it's about being in front of what we like to call our fan family. Because we actually just like to call them family. Mm-hmm. And so for us, there was what better way to give back than just, we wanted to have pictures with everybody we hang with at the shows. We wanted those pictures to be in there because that's why we're there. We're there to have a good time. We're not there to talk about politics. We're not there to, talk about, we're not getting up on stage to be social justice warriors. We're out there to have a good MF time. And I don't know how PG rated your show is. So
you're not PG rated at all. If you want to say a good fucking time, you can.
Yeah. I mean, we're there to have a good motherfucking time with our friends. That's why we are there. And so I wanted the lyric video to convey that, because if we can't all just forget about our troubles and forget about all the dumb shit going on around us for a few hours, why are we here?
Good point.
And so that's really what I wanted to convey with that song.
Cool. Now, getting to Dead Man. That starts with the drums. And I mean, you mentioned that 70s thing, but I really hear the 80s vibe on that huge drum sound in the intro. Like just sounds killer.
Yeah.
And I kind of get that vibe from Steel City. I do hear the 70s thing too with the B3 and whatnot. Tell me a little bit about that song.
Dead Man, Dead Man's kind of one of those things where it's like, if you've ever been, guy or girl, doesn't matter. If you've ever been the rebound person, that's what that song's about.
Oh, okay.
If you've been somebody's rebound, it's like, here it is, you think you've met this wonderful person, there are 8 different slices of wonderful, and you just, can't wait for the next day and the next day and the next day. And then the shoe drops and they go back, and they're running back to their past, slipping back in their history, as the song says. So that's what the song is basically about. And it just had a catchy riff, and it just seemed like the lyrics really fit with that song. Roy thought we were singing about pirates. It's okay.
Did he?
Yeah, because I was wondering, because when I sent that song off, it did not have, at the end of it, didn't say, why is the rum always gone? That was Roy that slipped that in there. So
that's perfect, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. That's awesome.
Good song, though, and it seems to be the most popular one off the album, because I think it's the one that has, you can check your stats on Spotify or whatever.
Yeah.
And it seems to be the highest spinning one on Spotify.
Really? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, Steal Your Heart is very AOR sounding. Starts with the keyboards. I think in 1986, this song would have been all over the airwaves, man.
May have, yeah.
And I mean, we kind of touched on, your influence and stuff. Mm-hmm. Were you objectively thinking that 80s sound on that one?
That song is probably the weirdest song that, in regard to writing, that I've ever done, because I never really think of guitar solos or anything like that. Those are always just kind of afterthoughts. To me, writing the song always comes, either the lyrics will come first or the melody will, kind of ring in my head. Something comes first. For whatever reason, I had an idea for a bridge with a guitar solo. And so I honestly, you open up your digital audio workstation. For me, that's Logic X.
Yeah.
And I literally started at the middle. I started at the guitar solo. I did the whole guitar solo, I had the whole thing out, and then I'm like, that sounds killer. I need to build a song around it. And That's what happened. Yeah. Now, when you say the lyrics sound like early 80s or late 80s stuff, the song that I wrote from that, I think it was somewhere between 1990 and 1992 is when I wrote the lyrics for that song. I lifted it from another song that I had written and put it on there, and it all kind of just melded together. But I've never been that guy that's really worried about the guitar solos. I figure, you know what, I'll put something in there that fits later. And, if it calls for something that's badass, then I'll put, kind of crazy Guitar Hero-esque stuff in there. Then I'll try to throw a little spice on it. But yeah, it's the first song and only song I've ever written where the guitar solo came first.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now getting to Wasted Time. Love this one. Drum and bass intro with very textured guitar. It's got that, that real 80s, more, chorusy, delay, reverb type of thing going, like really nice texture. It's amazing. In the chorus, it's huge. I almost hear a Jeff Tate type of delivery in this one. What was the objective in recording this song? Did you want Roy, sorry. I don't know why I said that. Anyways, right. Really belt it out. It really showcased the power of his voice again. And who is singing the backups on that one? Because those backups in that chorus sound great.
Well, again, one of the strange things is there's I sing these songs in demo form, mm-hmm. and then so there's almost like a template for what these guys can do. And like I said, if they want to take a complete departure from that is entirely up to them. But in regard to that, Roy kind of knew the vibe that I was going for. But Roy's, Roy is Roy, or as we like to call him, Roy motherfucking Cathey.
Yeah.
But
that suits him. I think that's
it does. But so he knew what I was going for, and he's able to add those texture and that richness and just the delivery that somebody like me is never going to be able to give. And so he knew the vibe that I was going for. He was actually almost going to tease me on that song and send like an Ozzy-esque version of it back just to be a smart ass. And I'm like, that would have been funny. That would have been funny because at the same time I would have been laughing, but I was like, what the hell? But so he knew what I was going for. And I'm just, full disclosure on the backing vocals. That's Eric Johnson and Roy. Really? Eric Johnson is part of our production team, and he's the guy that's instrumental for a lot of the backing vocals. And he's an amazing lead singer himself. He's in a band called Bombay Black with Ty Sims.
Oh, okay.
Our producer. Okay. So when we go into the studio, a lot of times, like we'll have just like Eric and Roy do a lot of it. They'll just kind of meld together to do the backing vocals.
Well,
and then
sounds good.
And it's our job to replicate that live.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. No,
but the thing is, we could all sing backing vocals. It's just honestly for the recording process, it's a bit easier to have it go that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's a nice mesh.
And a lot of bands wouldn't openly admit that, but we're not most bands.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, still close to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
Again, there's more diversity in the music on a song like that. And it's funny because I'm not sure if you know this band, but it reminds me of this great Canadian band called Harem Scarum. Not sure if you've ever heard of them. The guitar player is phenomenal. His name's Pete Lesperance, but they've done a ton of albums and done a lot of stuff for Frontiers and whatnot. And they're still going. That song kind of reminds me of their earlier stuff. Again, the background vocals really hit you in the face. Great guitar solo, by the way. And
thank you.
This is where you had mentioned earlier that you played to the song. And I totally noticed that. And I guess I was going to kind of ask you how you would approach a song like that, but maybe I've already answered my own question because we kind of explained that before. But with a song like that, again, you wouldn't go in and overplay something like that. And I totally noticed it. It fit perfectly to what the song was.
Yeah. That song, I actually wrote at 17 years old.
Really?
The whole thing. Yeah, the lyrics, all the music. Yeah, it was, it's a breakup song. And I, again, wrote it at 17 and 1985 and never really had the opportunity to put that song down on tape. To me, that song, we jokingly call that our Boston song because that's kind of the vibe that it really throws off is, kind of like that major chord progression, Boston-esque. And it's a great tune. I really like it. I mean, I like it enough to be on an album, and the song's 30 at the time was 35 years old. So
yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing that it's hung on with you that long. I mean, you must have really thought a lot about that song to include it again, to include it on an album finally.
Funny thing is, though, I still have my notebooks from songwriting from when I was a teenager.
Wow.
And that's why it's like, and so it's like sometimes when I'm looking, when I write like a riff that I think, wow, that's really cool. Do I have any lyrics that'll go with that? I pull out a lyric book that was, started in 1985 and just start, flipping through the thing and be like, there you go. Now, still close to my heart, those lyrics in that song went together as they did in 1985. But sometimes that's why I still have all this stuff in my head.
That's cool. And it fits so well. And it's funny that you mentioned that because about probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, I said to my daughter, I said, do you remember those vinyls that you took from me years ago when she was getting into vinyl, probably like 5 or 6 years ago? She goes, yeah. I was like, they were at her mom's house. I said, do you think you can bring those over? Because I know you're not listening to them. So anyways, there's about 20, 30 vinyls that she had taken. And I open up one of them, and I probably hadn't opened it up since the 80s, honestly. And I pull out a bunch of lyrics to a song that I guess I had somehow stuffed it in this album jacket, wrote down these lyrics for a song that maybe I was working on or I was going to use. And I was probably only 12 or 13. That's kind of when I first started, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I still have it sitting over by my vinyls. Like, I was like, oh, what's this? This is cool. It's like, wow.
Time to frame it.
Yeah, I should frame it. Mm-hmm. So, in terms of the album, where can people get it and what kind of format is it available on?
Well, the format that we have is CD. That's really it. We thought about the vinyl, but right now, especially with, COVID going on and everything, it was just another, it just seemed like it was a bit more of an expense that we wanted to take on.
Yeah.
Because our album literally dropped almost to the day that COVID hit, as far as like the world lockdown. That was a real treat. But you can find it, of course, on www.steelcityband.com. And in addition to that, of course, Paris Records, you can find it there. But the best place that most people could find, especially folks like you in Canada or worldwide, is a place called www.wowhd.com. And I'll tell you why. Because WowHD has worldwide free shipping. All you have to do is drop and drag from their menu. Like they have like a Canadian, they have a Canada site, a German site, an Australian site, whatever. You just drop and drag there, search for Steel City Mach II, and you're going to get free shipping. To me, you can't beat. And that's all, again, Tom Mathers, Paris Records, that's his doing, because that's the partnerships that he has for his distribution. The guy's amazing.
That's
the guy's
So now I know how to get my physical copy. Perfect.
We can take care of that.
That's cool. That's cool, man. So before I let you go, I mean, you mentioned everywhere. I think we've got everything. I'm sure there's other social media sites. Are you guys on Facebook? Are you on Facebook, Twitter, anything like that?
Yep, we're on Facebook. We're on Facebook, Twitter, which I honestly hardly ever post on, whether for my own personal account or for the band, just because I'm not really a big fan of Twitter. That to me is the shithole of social media sites, because all people do is get angry with each other there, and I don't have time or patience for that.
Yeah.
So, but we're easily found. I think Steel City USA on Instagram, and of course, I think the same goes for Facebook. But we're searched up really easy on any of those sites, and we're on every streaming site known to man. So
awesome. Okay.
Yeah, man.
We've covered all that stuff. That's good. So people know where to get the Steel City music.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
See anything that's going on with you guys. Now, I mean, I can ask about touring, but I mean, in COVID times, it's kind of hard to figure out what's going on. Oh,
we do have. I can't announce. When and where yet, because the promoter has to announce that. But we do have a show or two coming up.
Cool.
And so there'll be some pretty fun shows. And I can tell you this much: the one show that we're going to be doing in May, if there's a way that people on the Eastern Seaboard can get there, they're going to want to get there because of who we're playing with. So I can't release the details yet. I wish that I could, but I got to be respectful to the promoter.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. Don't want to piss anybody off. Or, you know what I mean? No, that's cool. I mean, you're saying Eastern Seaboard. I mean, I've been known to make a road trip, but a road trip for me is not possible now because I can't get across the border, the Canadian border. We can't. It's closed. We can't get in and out. So,
well, I'm hoping that changes, because I got to tell you right now, the band that I really, really, really want to play with more than anybody, the Canadian band, I should say, and almost any band overall, Stormforce.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Dying to do a show with those guys, because for 2020. That's my favorite album. I love those guys. Those guys are incredible.
Is that Greg Fraser's band?
Yes, it is.
From Brighton Rock?
Yes.
Greg Fraser? Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So, love those cats.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I have not actually checked them out. So, you know what? I may have to check them out. And, I may have to hit Greg up for an interview too. to get him on the podcast as well. That'd be cool. So we can talk about that. So.
Yeah, man, you may.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, well, that's good to know. But I hadn't heard anybody say anything about it, so I wasn't sure what. I guess I could have looked it up, but I'd seen a few things on Stormforce on Facebook. So hopefully, Steel City Stormforce will do a gig together at some point. That would be awesome.
Yeah. So by the way, I just let the cat out of the bag. So if and when you do talk to Greg Fraser, you could. If you say, Steel City really wants to do a gig with you, you'll probably start laughing. But, because I don't really know those guys. I've talked to Greg once, I've chatted with him on Facebook.
I don't really know him either. I'm friends with him on Facebook, but I don't really know him, so.
I've just got mad respect for that band, dude. I love those guys.
He's a great player too. Great.
Yeah, yeah, he is.
Brighton Rock. For sure. Brighton Rock up here did very well in Canada. Mm-hmm. That band, unfortunately, Jerry McGee, their singer, passed away.
Right.
A few months ago, which was unfortunate because he was a great singer. But back in the day when they were, their first 3 albums did very well here. Especially One More Try was their big song. I don't know if you've ever heard that track.
I have. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool song.
Although Young, Wild, and Free is my absolute favorite album from them for sure.
Yeah, that's the
love
first
that
one.
Yeah.
The first one. I like Love Machine. Is it Love Machine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that album. It was very gritty. It was very little bit heavier, right? I think they dropped the keyboards at that time too. So
yeah,
I think they did. Can't remember.
But those, like I said, it's amazing to me how many bands that were Canadian that I actually think back now that were huge influences on me, growing up. Honeymoon Suite, for instance. Yeah. Derry Graham to this day is probably the best guitar player I've ever seen play live.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he is. And Kick-Axe was another band that I loved. All these bands, they're all Canadian.
On the Road to Rock.
And then a couple of years ago, didn't really hear about them when I was a younger guy, but a couple of years ago, I discovered a band called Haywire.
Yes, yeah.
And
up here.
I heard a couple of their songs. I was like, holy shit, man, these guys are good. I love them.
Yeah, they're a cool band.
Yeah, well, the guy, I can't think of the name of the singer, but he comes out off that one song. He's like, drop the needle. I was like, oh my gosh, it's great.
They were
fantastic.
Cool band. They were very cool. Who else did we have up here that you may know? Helix?
Yes. No Helix. They're on our label.
Right.
They're on Paris.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Brian Vollmer, this lead singer, is still going and he's keeping Helix alive, which is great. They play around when no one can play here right now, but they still do, which is awesome. Mm-hmm. The Killer Dwarfs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
They're a great band. They're still going, which is great. There's another part
Phil X is from your area.
Yes, he is. Yeah, and Jason Hook is from our area, who played with Five Finger Death Punch, and he's played with Alice Cooper. He's from here, and then James LeBrie from Dream Theater.
There you go. Yeah, not really a big Dream Theater guy though.
I'm not either. I'm just happy at the fact that this Canadian guy played on the local Toronto scene back in the day. Did very well with Dream Theater, right? So it's kind of cool.
Man.
There was another band up here, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, called Slick Toxic. They were kind of the big draw up here at one time in the early 90s. And if you ever get to check them out, if you like those those Canadian bands, because they were kind of like the termed as the Canadian Skid Row.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, they did 2 albums. First album, Doing the Nasty, was on Capitol Records. It was really, really good. So
cool.
Yeah, so it's all good. So, Mike, I really thank you for coming on today. It was a great conversation, and hopefully down the road we'll have you on again, or even you and Roy or whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll get Roy. We'll get Roy on here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
For sure.
Okay, man.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I just want to say thank you to all the people that really supporting Steel City. It really means a lot to the band. It really does. So I just want to put that out there.
Okay. Cool, man.
All right, boss.
All right. You take it easy. We'll talk soon. Okay.
Take care, man.
Peace out.
See you.
Okay. See you. Bye.